Hi everyone, I'm going to show you guys how to find the inverse of this 3 by 3 matrix. So I'll be making two videos for this. One, it's gonna be using the determinant, and the other one's gonna be using row reduction. So if you use the determinant to find the inverse, so all we have to do is take your first number in the first row and first column. You can draw two straight lines vertically and horizontally, and then you have to multiply that with the cross multiplication of 6 and 8 with 9 and 2. So it's like this: 8 into 6 into minus 8 minus 9 into minus 2. So according to the formula, this is minus all the time. It's going to be 6 into minus 8 minus 9 into minus 2. Okay. Minus, now the next value, no matter what value you put, you always have to put the negative sign first. Minus 4, you take the next number in the first row and you multiply that with, all you have to do is you take the first row and the second column. So then we have minus 5, minus 2, 7 and minus 8, right? So it's going to be minus 4 into minus 5 into minus 8 minus 7 into minus 2 plus 3, your last number. 3 into, let me just erase these. So it's going to be, hold on a minute. So it's going to be the first row and the third column. Now it's 3 into minus 5 into 9 minus 7 into 6. Now we find the determinant. You use your calculator and let's see what we get. So I get negative 717. So if this is your determinant, so when you take this into your matrix, it's gonna be 1 over the determinant into whatever matrix we get. Okay, so we'll just leave this aside for now. Now I'll write down the matrix again. 8 4 3 minus 5 6 minus 2 7 9 minus 8. Now what you have to do is, we have something called the transpose matrix. So the transpose matrix is every single row of your matrix gets rotated into a column. So your first row, 8 4 3, is going to be a column like this, and then minus 5 6 and minus 2, it's going to be like this, and 7 9 minus 8, write it like that. So it's basically like rotating every single row by 90 degrees clockwise. Or you could just, well, let me just write down. Transpose matrix means every row every row becomes a column. Yeah, that would be the best explanation for that. Okay, so this is the matrix we need to focus on now. Let me write that down. 8 minus 5 7. I'm sorry, yeah, 8 minus 5 7. 4 6 9 and 3 minus 2 minus 8. Okay. Now what you have to do is, you cross the first row and the first column, and then we do the same thing we did with the determinant. We multiply the numbers, but this time we don't multiply it with 8. We just cross the first column and the first row, and now we do the cross multiplication. So it's going to be 6 into minus 8 minus 9 into minus 2. So that gives me minus 30, right? Now what you do is, okay, so now you cross the first row. So we crossed the first row already. Now you keep the first column crossed. Now you go on to the second row. Now we have minus 5, 7, and minus 2, minus 8, right? Now we do the same thing again. Minus 5 into minus 8 is 40, minus 2 into 7. That gives us 54. And 54 goes below minus 30. And then we do the same thing for the last row. So it's minus 5 into 9 minus 6 into 7. And that's minus 87. Now we found the first column. This right here is the first column. Let me just recheck again. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go to the second column. So for the second column, you erase this cross, and now you cut the second column and the first row. Now let's do 4 into minus 8. That's minus 32, minus 3 into 9, and that's minus 59. Now you go to the second row, do the same thing again. Minus 64 minus 3 into 7, and that's minus 85. And finally, the third row. 8 into 9 minus 28. That's 44. Now we found the second column. Let's go for the last column, the third one. So you cut the third column and the first row. So 4 into minus 2, minus 8, minus 18. So that gives me minus 26. And now you cross the second row. Now it's going to be minus 16 minus 15, and that's minus 1. And finally your last row, 8 into 6 minus 4 into minus 5, and that's 68. Okay, now we have one more step to do. There's this thing when you find the matrix, the inverse of a matrix. We have these symbols right here, like this. So we use this to find the adjugate matrix. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it right, but this is the spellings. So to find this matrix, so basically the previous matrix we found, we need to multiply the numbers we have in each row and column with the symbols, the plus and minus symbols. So basically if I write minus 30, the matrix we had previously, minus 85, minus 1, minus 87, 44, and 68. Okay, so it's going to be plus, so you can just take these as numbers too. Plus 1, minus 1, plus 1, minus 1, plus 1, minus 1, plus 1, minus 1, plus 1. So you multiply the numbers by plus 1 and minus 1 according to which row and column it is in. So it's going to be minus 30 into 1, which is minus 30, minus 59 into minus 1, which is 59, minus 26 into plus 1, that's minus 26, and minus 1 into 54, so it's minus 54, and then we have minus 85 and 1, so on it goes like that. Minus 87, minus 44, and 68. Okay, this we can write it as the adjugate matrix. Now finally, your final and last step is you multiply this matrix with the determinant, 1 over the determinant. So it's 1 over the determinant we found previously, which was negative 717. So minus 717 into the matrix we found. So this right here is the inverse. So this is the determinant method of finding the inverse of a 3 by 3 matrix. You could simplify your answer further if you want. You could expand the brackets, but you could just leave it like this. So this is your final answer. So I'll be making another video for the same exact question but using row reduction. So that's everything for this question. If you guys like my teaching, leave a like and subscribe, and if you guys have any doubts, please drop a comment. I'll help you guys out. And yep, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys and have a great day.